I am Zhen Huan. The world regards me as the ultimate victor of the palace, the supreme Empress Dowager who ruled the harem and possessed unparalleled glory and power. Everyone envies my phoenix robe, my lofty status, and my control over fate. Yet no one understands that these towering red walls never merely confined my life, they imprisoned my pure, sincere youthful heart that once longed for nothing but a single devoted lover. My life has been a journey from innocent spring dreams to bitter palace storms, from wholehearted expectation to desolate clarity. Every step brought growth, and every step left regret. Before entering the palace, I was an ordinary gentle maiden by the Qinghe River, well-read, pure-hearted, and poised. At 17, I knew nothing of imperial intrigue or human cruelty. My wishes were simple and untainted, for my family to live in peace, to find one loyal heart, and to walk through life together until white hair grew. I cared not for palace prosperity or imperial power. I only yearned for a simple lifetime companionship, a sincere love that would never fade. In my youth, I believed all affection was genuine, that sincerity would be reciprocated, and that every encounter was destined to be blessed. But fate was cruel. A single imperial edict shattered all my ordinary dreams and pushed me into this resplendent yet icy cage. The towering vermilion walls blocked mortal prosperity and buried all my youthful innocence. From the moment I stepped into the Forbidden City, my life was no longer my own. Every path ahead was filled with unpredictable storms. I once prayed silently in the plum garden, desiring no extravagant favor or noble rank, only peaceful days and safety for my family. Yet in the imperial harem, peace was never granted freely. In this palace, to refuse to fight is to choose destruction. In my early palace days, I remained cautious and restrained, hiding my beauty and talent merely to survive quietly. I witnessed new favorites rise and fall in an instant, watched countless nobles scheme futilely only to end in desolation, and learned firsthand the coldness and hypocrisy of palace life. I once wished to be the most inconspicuous guest in the harem, enduring my palace years quietly before returning home to freedom. But a fateful encounter amid apricot blossoms overturned all my plans and consumed half my life's tenderness. I met the emperor. In those days, he set aside his imperial dignity, treating me with unparalleled gentleness, patience, and understanding. He appreciated my knowledge, cherished my purity, and favored me uniquely. He accompanied me through rainy nights and blooming seasons, composing poems and sharing tranquil moments, treating me not as a concubine, but as a beloved wife. I fell deeply, foolishly mistaking the emperor's temporary warmth for lifelong devotion, mistaking resemblance for exclusive affection. I believed I had found my destined lover, that within this cold palace, someone would cherish my heart forever. Those days were the brightest and purest of my life. I was his beloved Huan Huan, his one and only Huan Pin. I dropped all defenses, abandoned all caution, and gave my heart entirely without reservation. I trusted his promises, cherished his tenderness, and clung to his companionship. I truly believed apricot blossom breezes would last a lifetime, that fleeting warmth would turn into eternal years. Naively, I thought even emperors were capable of undying love within these ruthless walls, yet an emperor's heart is inherently cold and calculating. Imperial favor drifts like floating clouds, blazing brightly for a moment before vanishing without trace. Beneath every grand favor lie endless jealousy, conspiracy, and bloodshed. The domineering consort Hua pressed me relentlessly with arrogance and cruelty. The seemingly gentle empress wove endless hidden traps and schemes. Every noble in the harem harbored selfish intentions, walking treacherous paths of calculation. Time and again, I fell into danger, endured slander and humiliation, trapped within meticulously crafted schemes. I once believed sincerity could overcome human malice, that exclusive favor could shield my peace. But I finally understood that before imperial power and political balance, love is the cheapest, most powerless thing in the world. He could treat me tenderly, yet abandon my grievances, ignore my devotion, and betray my heart for the sake of court balance and imperial stability. I endured coldness, injury, endless indifference and suffering, surviving countless lonely nights amid palace desolation, swallowing all my tears and helplessness alone. The most painful awakening never comes from sudden separation, but from accumulated disappointment. From countless sincere efforts unappreciated, Countless devotions trampled into dust. I finally realized the bitter truth. From beginning to end, I was nothing but a substitute. He loved my features, my bearing, my gentleness solely because I resembled his forever unattainable first love, Empress Chunyuan. My years of wholehearted devotion, my lifelong trust and affection, were nothing but a self-deceiving, fabricated illusion. Wearing Empress Chunyuan's old robes shattered all my delusions in an instant. In that moment, every tender memory, every sweet promise, every exclusive favor turned to empty bubbles. I finally woke up. The apricot blossom romance was fake, the gentle affection was fake, the lifelong oath was nothing but vanity. My pure heart, my youthful innocence, my sincere devotion all perished in the storm of Suiyu Pavilion. The naive Wan Pin died completely that day. When the heart dies, rebirth begins. My long confinement in Suiyu Pavilion was the darkest period of my life, yet also the turning point of my transformation. I lost my child, endured extreme humiliation, faced isolation and betrayal, and tasted the ultimate coldness and despair of the palace. Through those endless days and nights, I saw clearly the cruel rules of the harem, the emperor's cold nature, and the treachery of human hearts. I learned finally that in the palace, love is the most useless weakness, and innocence is the deadliest flaw. Softness leads to destruction. Only power and self-preservation can grant survival. It was at my lowest, most desperate moment that I met Yunli. Prince Guojun, Yunli was the only person in this icy palace untouched by power schemes who loved me purely for who I was. He saw my radiance in prosperity, my humiliation and downfall, and my fragility and heartbreak. He never calculated gains or losses, never hesitated or wavered, protecting me with pure, unreserved devotion. He understood my endurance, pitied my grievances, cherished my purity, and comforted my hardships. In my loneliest, most helpless days, he alone gave me warmth, salvation, and true exclusive love. His love transcended appearance, power, and benefit. It was pure spiritual connection and sincere affection. He feared no imperial authority, no worldly rumors, guarding me silently and faithfully even when I was a discarded, powerless concubine. The years at Lingyun Peak, far from palace chaos and imperial entanglement, were the freest, purest, most genuine days of my life. I shed my palace robes, my masks, my defenses, living simply as the Maiden Zhenhuan, no longer a noble consort, only a woman loving and beloved in peace. In those days, I had completely let go of the palace, the emperor, and all past obsessions. I only wished to spend my remaining years peacefully with my true love, far from intrigue and coldness. Yet fate struck cruelly once more. A false death report brutally shattered my perfect future and tore apart our destined love. Believing my beloved was gone, and for the sake of my family and my unborn children, I had no choice but to return to the cold cage that had ruined half my life. From that day forward, the naive Wan Pin vanished forever. Reborn from ashes, I became new Hulu Zhenhuan. Returning to the Forbidden City, I abandoned all innocence and tenderness, donning a cold, sharp armor. I sealed away my heart, my softness, my longing and devotion. From then on, I believed no love, trusted no sincerity, and expected no favor. I planned cautiously, endured patiently, and acted decisively, navigating the treacherous harem with strategy and precision. I would no longer tolerate bullying or compromise weakly. Whoever harmed me, wronged me, or betrayed me would receive retribution 100-fold. I uncovered decades of hypocrisy and schemes, exposing the Empress's true vicious nature, settling all old grievances and healing years of hidden wounds. Through countless intrigues, hidden arrows, and dangerous confrontations, I rose step by step from a disgraced exile to supreme noble consort, ruling the harem and holding immense power. I gained supreme status, unshakable dignity, and unparalleled glory. I protected my family, my children, and every precious person beside me. I won every palace struggle and every dispute, standing finally at the absolute peak of the imperial harem. Yet I lost the most precious thing in life. I won power and victory, but lost my lifelong sincerity. I won prosperity and glory, but lost peaceful happiness. I defeated every enemy, yet lost the only man who truly loved and saved me. To protect my safety and my future peace, Yunli drank the poisoned wine and departed forever. His flute fell silent eternally, and my purest, most unworldly love ended in eternal, irreparable regret. After that, my heart turned completely cold, empty of affection and expectation. As the supreme noble consort ruling the six palaces, I stood amid endless prosperity and worship, yet my eyes held only desolation and loneliness. I saw through imperial hypocrisy, palace vanity, and human fickleness, facing the world with cold detachment for the rest of my days. As the emperor lay dying, I stood calmly beside him, recounting half a lifetime of truth and shattering all his illusions of tenderness. I told him every hidden truth, every accumulated regret, every unhealed betrayal. I told him I had never truly loved him, that my heart belonged only to another until my last breath. He spent his life controlling power and manipulating hearts, deluding himself into believing in his own affection and favor. In the end, he possessed nothing but empty obsession. The emperor passed away, dust settled, and a new emperor ascended the throne. I finally became the most respected Empress Dowager of the harem, residing atop the Forbidden City, enjoying supreme honor and universal reverence. The towering palace walls stood silent through endless years of peace. The world praised my success and completeness, yet only I knew that this supreme glory and endless splendor were nothing but a grand, lifelong cage of solitude. Standing at the peak of power, no one could ever harm, humiliate, or betray me again. Yet I could never retrieve my 17-year-old self, pure, hopeful, and sincere. I could never recover the original heart beneath the apricot blossoms, or the simple wish for one loyal heart and lifelong companionship. I gained status, glory, and security, yet lost my sincerity, my true love, and my pure, youthful dreams forever. After decades in the palace, I witnessed endless separation and sorrow, endured countless ups and downs. I buried my innocence, my tenderness, and my past with my own hands, transforming from a gentle maiden into a cold, solemn Empress Dowager. The long years ahead stretched empty and lonely. Surrounded by boundless glory and desolate palaces, I endured endless silent seasons. The world admires my supremacy, yet I know every step of my life was forced, every ending filled with unspoken regret. The cruelest thing about this forbidden city has never been schemes or bloodshed. It is its ability to consume sincerity, extinguish passion, and bury youthful purity, turning every devoted girl into a cold, detached soul living in endless solitude. I am Jen Huan. Once passionate, gentle, and innocent, I finally weathered all worldly storms until my heart turned to ash. For the rest of my lonely life, I stand supreme above all mortal prosperity, never again stirred by worldly affection or trivial warmth. The cruelest thing about this forbidden city has never been schemes or bloodshed. It is its ability to consume sincerity, extinguish passion, and bury youthful purity, turning every devoted girl into a cold, detached soul living in endless solitude. I am Jen Huan, once passionate, gentle, and innocent. I finally weathered all worldly storms until my heart turned to ash. For the rest of my lonely life, I stand supreme above all mortal prosperity, never again stirred by worldly affection or trivial warmth. Now that I rule the inner palace and overlook the entire imperial city, all the turmoil and obsession of my youth have long faded into smoke. Day after day, I sit alone in the grand and empty palace hall, listening to the rustle of wind through carved railings and the silent falling of twilight outside the window. The maids and eunuchs around me are respectful and obedient, their every step cautious, every word deferential. No one dares to probe my thoughts. No one dares to read the loneliness hidden beneath my calm and dignified expression. They see only the supreme Empress Dowager, powerful and inviolable, yet none can perceive the ordinary girl who once dreamed of simple love and mortal happiness, buried deep beneath layers of phoenix robes and imperial dignity. I often wander through the empty palaces in my leisure time, passing the places that once held joy and sorrow, prosperity and desolation. I walk past the apricot blossom courtyard where I first met the emperor, the plum garden where I once whispered youthful wishes, and the Suiyu pavilion where I endured my darkest days. Every brick, every tile, every blooming flower carries the traces of my mortal years. Time is merciful yet ruthless. It witnesses every sincere heartbeat and every tear of grief, yet washes away all warmth in the end. leaving only cold memories and irreversible regret. I once resented the emperor's hypocrisy, resented the palace's cruelty, resented fate's arbitrary arrangement, but as years accumulate, all resentment fades into indifference. Hatred and love are equally tiring emotions, and I have long been exhausted from caring too deeply. Looking back on my life, every choice was forced by circumstance, every transformation shaped by pain. I did not wish to be ruthless, yet the palace forced me to sharpen my edges. I did not wish to scheme, yet endless conspiracy forced me to protect myself. I did not wish to abandon my sincerity, yet repeated betrayal left me with no choice. All the bloodshed and calculation, all the separation and loss, forged my invulnerable appearance, yet hollowed out my softest heart little by little. I have eliminated all enemies, settled all grievances, stabilized the harem and secured the imperial throne, accomplishing what countless women could never achieve in a lifetime. Yet the price I paid is irreparable. My pure youth, my sincere affection, my only true love, and the ability to wholeheartedly trust and love someone. I watched the young concubines entering the palace year after year, bright-eyed and youthful, carrying innocent longing for imperial favor and mortal prosperity. I see the shadow of my former self in them, naive, passionate, easily moved by trivial tenderness, easily trapped in the illusory glory of the palace. I want to warn them that imperial favor is fleeting, that palace prosperity is empty, that devotion often leads to injury, and that sincerity is always the most vulnerable thing in this cage. Yet I remain silent. Everyone has their own path to walk, their own suffering to endure, and their own lessons to learn. No one can escape the fate of growth, and no one can replace another's experience. Just as no one once warned me, I now choose to let them walk their own destined journey. The new emperor is filial and prudent, the court is stable, and the harem is peaceful. The world presents a prosperous and peaceful scene, and all people praise my virtue and merit. I hold supreme power and endless glory, enjoying the highest reverence in the world. Yet, in the dead of night, when all hustle and bustle fades and the entire palace falls into silence, I am always overwhelmed by boundless loneliness. Power can protect me from harm, status can bring me respect, prosperity can satisfy all mortal desires, but none of them can fill the empty gap in my heart. No one will wait for me through the long night. No one will understand my hidden weariness. No one will regard me as an ordinary woman rather than a supreme ruler. I often recall the days at Lingyun Peak, the most genuine and free time of my life. There were no noble ranks, no power struggles, no imperial taboos. I was merely Zhen Huan, a woman loved deeply by Yunli. We watched the sunrise and sunset, listened to mountain winds and flowing water, chatted about trivial mortal matters, and accompanied each other through quiet seasons. Those plain and warm days are the most precious treasure in my life, far more valuable than all the glory and power I hold now. If I could choose again, I would never step into the Forbidden City. I would rather be an ordinary mortal woman, living a simple life in a small town, with a loyal lover by my side, spending ordinary and peaceful lifetime without imperial prosperity, without endless intrigue, without eternal regret. Unfortunately, life has no do-overs. Fate weaves its net long before we understand its meaning, leaving us with only forward motion and no retreat. All I can do now is sit steadily on this supreme throne, guard the peace of the imperial dynasty, protect the safety of my children and clansmen, and spend the rest of my days in silent tranquility. I have long understood that the ultimate ending of all prosperity is desolation, the ultimate outcome of all passion is indifference, and the ultimate destination of all mortal encounters is separation. From youthful innocence to mature coldness, from wholehearted devotion to complete detachment, from seeking warmth to enduring solitude, my life is a complete tragedy disguised as victory. The world sees my glorious success, but only I know that I have lost everything worth cherishing in the process of gaining everything. The red walls bury countless youthful dreams, and the palace years wear away countless sincere hearts. I am the Empress Dowager standing at the peak of power, yet I am also the most ordinary woman who lost her love, her youth, and herself in this endless, deep palace. The wind blows through the empty palace again, sweeping away the trivial dust of the years. All love and hatred, joy and sorrow, gain and loss have settled with the passage of time. For the rest of my life, I will guard this magnificent and lonely city alone, watching the sunrise and sunset, witnessing the alternation of seasons, silently enduring the endless tranquility and desolation of my supreme life. No more joy, no more grief, no more obsession. All that remains is a calm and desolate heart, standing alone through the endless years of the Forbidden City.